beginning when I first started coaching. I think this is one of the things that I struggled with the most because I was very, I don't want to say I was shy because I'm not a shy person, but when it come to, talking about people's health, I didn't feel, cause I was over 100 pounds overweight. So I didn't feel like I, had that right, I guess, at the time. So, um, I feel like as, a coach now, and having a team, it's really about breathing life into those coaches. I know that you and Pat have, I mean, breathe life into me, for the past 3 years. And that's why I have the confidence that I have now. But it's just those little steps, like I remember being in a grocery store. And there was a lady in there and she was looking at frozen vegetables. And, I thought, okay, I was like, oh, hi, how are you looking for something? Can I help you find something? And she's like, oh, I'm just trying to I'm trying to find something I can feed my husband because he doesn't like vegetables. And I'm like, oh, I was like, cauliflower rice is really good. I said, you can fix it in many different ways. And she's like, oh, that's good. So I help her find that. She goes, and then she, kept the conversation going by telling me, oh, he was just diagnosed with diabetes. So, we're dealing with all these health issues now. And so I just offered, I had one of my cards, I pulled it out. I said, I work with people that are diabetics or on other, prescription medications. I said, and, a program that I offer can sometimes, reduce the need for those. And then I asked her, I said, would you mind if I got your number so that, I could reach out to you guys and see if, we could set up a time to talk. She goes, oh my gosh, that would be so amazing, and that's, and it started because I smiled, I was friendly, and I asked her what she was, if I could help her. So really people they just, they want to be heard, and they want to know that you're actually listening to them. So, starting conversations can be so easy, when we're not thinking about, what is this going to do for me? And I was listening to a training from Tiffany Howard, and she was talking about passion, and how passion is what should lead us, through this journey. Because, like you were saying before, some people will fall off their health journey, or, coaches will fall off their coaching journey, because I think sometimes we lose the passion for people. But rekindling that passion, and I know this last year was really stressful for us and our family, and rekindling that passion is what's really helped me get going again. Because, I do have a passion for people, and I love helping people, but last year I couldn't help myself. So, we go through those times, but it's rekindling that passion and finding that, I think.
Yeah, thank you, Wendy. That's so powerful what you just said. And, it's all about helping another human being get what they want. So who else wants to share along those lines? Or you might want to change Julia. Yeah, go ahead, Julia. And then we'll go to Carolyn. Are you on mute, Julia? You might have to unmute yourself, honey. Okay, Carolyn, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, okay, go ahead, Julia.
I'm so sorry.
No worries.
Forgot about the whole mute thing. So I was in Texas for about 5.5 weeks when I first started my journey, and had only been a coach for a couple weeks. Had a very small group. You and Wendy had, just encouraged me to just randomly talk to people. I carried my water jug every day to report in the morning and at night, and people would start asking me questions. But then I finally got the courage, because there was so many basically obese nurses in this group of about 300 I was in. And I finally said, you know what, I can't help them unless they know what I can do for them. So slowly I would just ease my way up and be like, hey, my name's Julia, and I am on this wonderful program. And I would show them a picture of myself because I've been on about a month then, before and after in scrubs. But just that little bit of difference, I wound up signing up 4 people while I was in Texas. That assignment not ended, I can't imagine what work I could have done there. But the first time I was able to approach somebody in a grocery store, I circled this man 4 times. And I was just scared to death to talk to him because I didn't want him to think, hey, I know you're big, but you could tell he had already lost a significant amount of weight. So I went up and I talked to him, and then his wife came up and we exchanged numbers. But now I'm back home, and I work from home now as my full-time job is a foster care case manager from my house. So I don't have that big presence like I did in Texas. And I have utilized that fast track to freedom. I am on round 2, and I have surpassed goals this month that I didn't even know was possible by following those steps and reaching out to people. I do everything every day, every morning. If it says to post in the morning, I post in the morning. Post at night, I post at night. I reach out to 5 new people every day. I comment on 5 new people's stuff. And you guys know my goals, and you're welcome to share those if you want. But man, Optavia, Dr. Anderson, you guys, you give the tools. It's just us utilizing them and using them. You can't say you're doing it alone because you're never doing it alone. So my next goal for my business side is develop a team. I've made my team like my personal people. I'm playing craziness. I never thought I'd be here in 2.5 months. I'm here, but now I want a team like you guys have. So that's my next goal. And losing weight. I still got about 70 pounds to lose. And I'm gonna tell you, when I post those before and after pictures of just what little bit of journey I've been on, my response is crazy. And that's all part of the fast track. You do that twice in 30 days. So I just reposted on a post I did on day 4 this time. So it comes. If you follow those steps, people will reach out.
Yeah, and thank you, Julia, for sharing that. And it's so wonderful that we have these tools from the company. You don't have to be a social media whiz. We've got the platform that's been developed, and you just plug into that and do the steps. And so it just couldn't be easier. The fast track to freedom has been a game changer for so many people. And Julia has just expanded her numbers so quickly in the last 3 months. So Carolyn, you wanted to share. Go ahead, hon.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I wanted to address something that I feel like is so important in sharing the message, and that is we have to realize that, we cannot take it personally when someone says no, because what they're saying is no right now, but that doesn't mean in the future that they're not going to circle back to us. So I think it's so important to realize that, we're just planting seeds, and that's what I'm learning. And, mine has not been a fast start thing, which, it's great. Julia, congratulations on what you've done. But for me, it's been a slower go. I'm a 20-year realtor, so I'm looking at doing this and transitioning and doing all that kind of stuff. But I think my point is that I want to say to everybody is, don't take it personally. That's the hardest thing. That's the hardest thing for me as a coach, is taking it personally, because we never know what steps people are walking in. It could be not the right time. It could be a situation at home. There's all kind of things. For me personally, I just pray that God will send to me anybody who needs me, whatever their need be, whether it need to be, more income or to help them get healthy. My mission is to serve him and do the very best I can. And it's not always easy. It's sometimes discouraging, but just remember, we're planting seeds.
Yeah, Carolyn, that's so powerful. I always think I like to give like personal examples, but I just remember when I left home. I grew up in a little town in Illinois. I left home. I was the oldest of 5, and I was scared to death to go away to school. Our family didn't have money, so we had never really been on vacations or anything. And here I was all alone. And I didn't know what I was going to major in, but I was good in math and science, so I kept taking those classes. But the point is, whatever you're striving for, if you're striving for a vibrant Optavia business that can provide income and balance and time freedom and all of that, security for the future, it takes time to build. And one of the things that you said, Carolyn, is Dee, you something, implying that I was a mover and a shaker from day one. I wasn't. Pat was my beautiful sponsor and my mentor, but you can ask her. I was really stuck for 2 years. I just, I had a lot of stuff going on personally, and I was not reaching out to people. I struggled a lot with what are people going to think of me because I'm practicing medicine. So I was not one that, rose quickly. But once I got past that second year, then I did start moving quickly. And what did it for me was going to a conference, a convention, where I saw people on the stage. And I thought to myself, if they can do it, I can do it. And so oftentimes we need those examples of people that maybe were kind of shocked, that Wendy and I were talking again yesterday, and we were talking about really, really successful health coaches. Those, many of them, the stay-at-home moms that were on food stamps, they were on public assistance, and now they've got, like these amazing incomes where they're not doing public aid anymore because they don't need it. They've got plenty of income to support them and their families. So who else wants to share this morning?
I just wanted to say one thing. That no, not now, that is so true. I've had so many people be like, oh, Julia, it's too expensive, or I just don't do it. And then maybe I've not followed back up with them yet. I try to follow up with everybody occasionally, but man, I've had so many, you guys, so many reach back out to me by following my journey on Facebook and Instagram and start this program because I'm their example. And that's why I got into this. I didn't even know what a coach made. I got into it because I wanted to help people. And it is definitely a not now.
Yeah, Julia, the other thing that I love about you is you're still on your journey, and that hasn't stopped you. Sometimes, we deal with coaches that say, well, I'm too heavy, and so I'm going to wait until I lose all of my weight. Well, they could be helping people as they're losing the weight, because it's just so much more authentic if you show up real. And, if you're on the journey, then why not invite other people to join you as well? What else? Who else wants to share this morning? Yeah, who else? Anything? What about like inviting, because this can be a real shift for people, inviting people to take a look at what we do. That's another area that people hang up with. And Joe, if you don't want to, I totally understand, but maybe share your experience with your chiropractor, because you and I are talking about doing a business explore with your chiropractor.
Sure. I started going to a chiropractor, and I noticed one of the things he offered was weight loss. And I think I mentioned early on with Dee that I was going to a chiropractor, and I'm always amazed at how much you guys are willing to share and help. That it's not just my business by myself, but you're always so willing to share. So I've gone to him a few times and just started getting relationship, just knowing, asking about kids and what do you do in your spare time and things like that, and just kind of building that trust. And in the beginning, I told him I had lost 55 pounds, and he was pretty impressed with that. And so then he started asking me about that, how had I lost weight? So it's just building. And so I made the comment to him, if, would he be interested in learning more about it? And he said yes. So then I texted Dee to say, okay, what do I do now? Because I've never had one I've never had a client that has had an interest in coaching. And she gave me tips on what to do and how to set it up. And Dee, I haven't talked to you, but I had a meeting with him Thursday, or a session with him. And I brought in some literature because he wanted some more information. And I thought, okay, just ask the question. This is what everybody says. So I asked him if he was open to exploring about coaching. I first asked him, I said, well, are you interested in a supplemental income to your business, or are you just wanting to help your clients get healthier? And he says, no, I'm looking for an income stream. I'm like, okay, would you be open to exploring that? He says, yes. So that was my first attempt at that. So I go to him Monday and we'll set up an appointment, Dee, to do the call on a 3-way call and have you explore that with him. So I'm really excited about that. I don't even know how that works to have a coach, but I've done it once, so now it should get easier.
Well, the other thing, Joe, thank you. But the other thing that people then get nervous about is, oh my gosh, if they say yes, then I won't know how to work with them. I won't know what to do. Well, again, Pat and I know what to do. So you just plug them into your mentorship, and we do it together. So we're modeling, how to get someone started and get all of the steps in place. Again, you saw the business on one slide. That's how easy it can be. And when people have an office full of patients, it's not that hard. I mean, I have a little video that I did on, I think it's 3 minutes long, how to talk to your patient about their weight. And it's very simple. If I give the example of, if someone came into your office, you're a health professional, someone comes into your office and they have a black spot on their forehead, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, that could be melanoma, which is a malignant skin cancer that can kill people, but you don't say anything about it, then how kind of a health professional, how professional are you if you don't mention something that could take someone's life? And the same thing about weight. I mean, most of the health issues we see in our country are related to weight, and yet we stay silent, even though we know we've got something, in our toolbox. So Joe, I'm super excited to help you with that. So anybody else want to pipe in? Pat, any comments that you have? I'm trying to get back to gallery view.
No, great shares, great shares. What we do is share. What people do with the information we share, that's completely up to them in their timing. And, there were some great points made today as we, sit here the last Saturday in April. More and more people are ready to get healthy. We just have to keep reaching out, loving on them, and follow up. Just because they say no today doesn't mean no forever either. And we just keep following up. They say, no, it's not about me. It's about them. We just keep loving on them. Following up can just, be how you doing? Liking posts on social media, commenting on their posts, staying connected. Offer them a healthy e-newsletter if you haven't done that already. So many things. Offer, if you've done a health assessment and they want to think about it, offer Pursuing Health. That's the group for clients. There's the group for coaching. Get familiar with all of these tools, and it helps us all to continue to grow. This is a great time of the month to continue to, follow up with anyone you've done a health assessment with who hasn't placed that first order. That can help your end of the month business. Any client who maybe has not placed an April order, it's a great time to follow up with them. Why, what's going on? We know orders are taking a little longer. We don't want to wait till the last minute and clients run out of products. So there's just a lot of things. Just love on people. Just love on people.
Yeah, that's so true. And we all have people that we, again, our heart just bleeds. We want to help them so badly, and they just don't. Yeah, they just don't make the connection. Some people on this call have heard me talk about my driveway guy, guy that I hired to seal my driveway. And anyway, he really overweight. When he showed up, he had these moccasins on and his feet were just, spilling over the tops of his moccasins. He couldn't even wear shoes because his feet were so swollen. So I took one look at him and I knew he was in congestive heart failure. There was no doubt. And then he was like huffing and puffing, getting from his truck, which was parked on the street, to my front door, where you have to come up a flight of stairs, huffing and puffing. And I offered him, I talked to him about what I did at that first appointment. And he ended up months and months later ordering the program, but he never did start. In the meantime, his box arrived. I reached out to him. I said, let's schedule an appointment to help you get started. And his response was, I'm Italian. I eat pasta. I can't possibly eat that crap. And so he was just, he wasn't mean. He was just, a workman that, had a thriving business with what he did, but he just did not make the connection. And then a couple of months after he ordered the program, but never started, he ended up in the hospital. He was in the hospital for 3 weeks on a respirator, congestive heart failure, all of these other medical issues. And, his business is falling apart. He's had it. It's been a family business for a couple of generations, and it's heartbreaking. So on the flip side, we can only reach out to people, and if they want it, then we can help them. And if they don't want it, if they're resistant, then, as much as I hated to say next, I had to say next, because I was just spending too much energy worrying about him more than he was worried about himself. And so who else? Anybody else? We're at the final 5 minutes. So any parting comments? I want to thank everybody who got on the call this morning. And again, I hope that you find value to these. I see my friend Brenda's on, Dr. Eisen, who was one of my first health professional coaches. Brenda may not be able to talk this morning. I know she's in California, but Brenda was one that she's family medicine, and she called me one Saturday to talk about a mutual breast cancer patient that we had. And then at the end of the conversation, she said, "What's new with you?" And I said, "Oh, I, am offering weight management in my office now." And Brenda had just replaced her scale with a scale that weighed 500 pounds. And so Brenda said, you know what, I want to hear about it. I'm looking for something for my practice. And then she climbed on board and has just been such a fabulous team member. So anyway, so we've got people from all walks of life, you know, whether they're health professionals, they're not health professionals, anybody can reach out and help someone. So anybody else with a parting comment? All right. Well, thanks everybody for getting on. And again, have a blessed rest of your weekend. Here in St. Louis, it's raining. I love rain because my plants are just thriving and, you know, leafing out and popping out of the ground. And so I love rain. And all right. Thank you. And we will connect next week. So, all right, take care.